I get inspiration from a lot of people, but one of those people is Elliot Hulse, a strongman and YouTuber whose simple, no-frills style of teaching and very minimalistic editing his videos gave me the confidence that I actually needed to start making videos without thinking that I needed insane editing and huge budgets and all the crazy stuff that a lot of other channels use. Now, if you watch the trailer over at his channel Strength Camp, you'll hear him say something that has become the cornerstone of my own exercise philosophy, and it's the most important part of the game is your game piece. And it makes sense, doesn't it? Because if your life is a game, then the hardware that you play with is your body and your mind, and if they're not in good working order, you're not going to be able to play the game very well. Now, I make this point for an important reason. It's this. As students who are busy and who are young, we make a couple of really fiendish excuses in our lives when it comes to exercising. One, we say that we're young, our bodies are going to take care of themselves, we don't need to take care of them as much, it's not as much of a priority. And two, we feel that we're too busy to make time for exercise, that it can come later after we've put in all of this grunt work to become successful. If you've made those excuses before, or you're making other excuses that cause you to work out less than you want to, then I'm here to help you squash those excuses. In this video, I want to help you do two things. One, make more time to work out, and two, gain the motivation to do so. So let's start with time. And the first thing that I'm going to say is the same thing I said in my video on high density fun. You need to schedule time to exercise. And I'm not talking about just saying, oh, I'm going to work out 3 times this week at some point. Use the time management skills you're building and actually look at your week, schedule actual times that you're going to work out, and make sure you're in the gym or wherever you work out at those times. Just like scheduling fun, scheduling your exercise time will necessitate that you work more efficiently when you're actually studying or getting homework done. Now, if you're finding that becoming a more efficient person and scheduling your workouts isn't enough and you're really, really busy, then do what I do. Every morning I wake up and as part of my morning routine, I do something called the 7-minute workout. It's actually just 7 minutes and I use an app on my iPhone to guide me right through it, which I'll link to in the blog post for this video. And it's part of my little 10-minute block with my meditation that I do for 3 minutes. The other nice thing about the 7-minute workout is that it's all body weight exercises. I actually do it right here in this office and I don't need anything except for my body weight and a wall to do wall sits and a chair to do chair stand-up exercise things. I'm not really sure what those are called. Chair step-ups? So let's move on to the topic that most people probably have more trouble with, which is motivation. And I've got 4 ways that you can increase your motivation to exercise. Get a buddy, externalize your motivation, tackle the ignition costs first, and make exercise fun. So getting a workout buddy is seemingly simple. You just find a friend who also wants to exercise and go to the gym with them. But one thing I want to caution you on this is you need to find somebody who's not going to bring your own motivation levels down. If you find that the person who wants to go to the gym with you is actually making it harder for you to get to the gym than if it would be on your own, then don't go to the gym with that person unless you want to make a conscious effort to help them get fit. But if you're trying to bolster your own motivation, you need to find somebody who is going to provide a positive influence. One thing you can try is actually getting a buddy who isn't really a good friend. I found my workout buddy when I was on the Iowa State subreddit one year, and we ended up going to the gym together for 6 months. Since I didn't know him really well, I couldn't just walk into his room and say, hey, I'm not feeling it today. I had to show up if I didn't want to embarrass myself. And actually having a workout buddy is one way you can externalize the motivation to work out. But let's talk about a couple of others. Basically, externalizing your motivation is going to come through commitment devices, committing prior to the actual workout so you have to go do it. One way I did this as a sophomore was signing up for an ROTC physical fitness class. So as a civilian, I actually worked out with the Army cadets and did the exact same workouts they did at 6 a.m. And yes, it was hell, but I was really fit that semester. In later semesters, I signed up for a lifting class, which met 3 days a week. And while it wasn't at 6 a.m., it was a really good way to stay in shape and I got an extra credit to boot. Now, if you don't have access to a workout partner or classes you can sign up for, you can also use apps as commitment devices. And I'll talk about some other apps I really like at the end of this video, but the ones I want to talk about right now are BeMinder and Gympact. BeMinder I've talked about before, and it's a general commitment device app where you can pledge money towards a certain goal, and Gympact is an exercise-specific goal where you pledge money to go to the gym a certain amount of times a week. Third on our motivation list is dealing with ignition costs. So tell me if you feel the same way that I do. I think that the actual act of getting ready to work out, putting on my gym clothes, taking off my regular clothes, and walking to the gym is actually more difficult than the actual act of lifting the weights. This is a common problem for a lot of things we want to do. The act of preparation, of getting ourselves into the task and getting ready for it, is often harder to summon the motivation for than doing the actual task. To account for this, there are a couple of things you can do, and the first thing I would do is split it into 2 different tasks. Respect the ignition cost as a task of its own, and then the actual workout as a second task. If you keep something like an accomplishment journal, or you track your tasks in Habit RPG and give yourself rewards, then give yourself a reward for finishing the ignition, and then give yourself a second reward for doing the actual workout. You can also put that secondary task, the actual workout, workout out of your mind altogether and simply commit to finishing the ignition. I know a lot of people who say to themselves, I'm just going to walk into the gym with gym clothes on and count that as a win if I can do it. But once they're actually in the gym, they're already there, so their mind goes, what the heck, I'm gonna work out. I won't go into it too much here, but this is an example of BJ Fogg's tiny habits model, and if you want to learn more about it, I'll probably do a video in the future, but I'll also link to some resources in the blog post for this video. So the last thing I want to mention about motivation before I talk about apps is the act of finding ways of exercising that are actually fun. A lot of people think exercising and working out is strictly limited to jogging on the treadmill or going to the gym and lifting weights. But if that's not something you enjoy, you're probably not going to do it no matter how much motivation you try to summon, or at least you're not going to do it as often as you want. So regardless of the schedule you set up for actual traditional working out, find something you enjoy and augment your exercise schedule with that. If you're in college, there are probably a bazillion intramural sports leagues you can join. You can go hiking, or you can do what I do and play lots and lots of DDR. So before we finish this video and I tell you to get off your butt and hit the gym, let's talk about a couple of apps that can help you keep motivated to exercise. Now, I talk a lot about Habit RPG on this channel because I really like it for general habit building, but I've actually sort of modified it and turned it into a workout tracker as well for my own uses. If you take a look at my habits column, I have a couple of standard habits there that I track, but for the most part, I list individual exercises and give myself credit when I get them done at the gym. If you want to take this concept a step further, then check out Fitocracy. I used to use Fitocracy all the time, and it's basically the best way to turn exercise into a video game that I've ever seen. By tracking the sets and reps you do, you can get experience, you level up, and you can also get achievements and go on quests. It's actually pretty similar to Habit RPG, but it's focused on exercise. The last one I'll mention is an app called Fitness Buddy, which my friend Youngtown told me about. And if you're looking for an app that will give you specific workout routines and also show you how to do specific exercises, it's an amazing resource. All right, so hopefully this video will help you create more time and motivation to exercise more in college, because seriously, having your body and mind in good working order is the foundation to being able to use all the other techniques I talk about on this channel. If you have other tips and things that have worked for you that I didn't mention in this video, then feel free to share them down in the comments, and I will see you next week. Hey there, thanks for watching my video on exercising more in college. Now, I know this video is a bit of a departure from the specific study strategies I usually talk about on this channel, but if you liked it and you want to get more tips on being an awesome college student, then hit that big red subscribe button right there. I also wrote a free 100+ page book on getting better grades, so if you would like to get a copy, click the picture of the book and I'll send you one. You can also find links to any resources I mentioned in the video by going to the companion blog post right there, and if you missed last week's video, there's a clip of it playing, so definitely check it out. Lastly, if you want to suggest topics for new videos or just connect with me, then I'm @TomFrankly on Twitter, or you can leave a comment. Thanks!